Going to get tea. It's Stephanie White. She has had enough of what she has seen from the officials here today. Understandable frustration from Stephanie White.
Couple of possessions in a row where Leah Boston got the fouls. I thought the first one should have been on Howard. And then here, as Petty's in there, Hillman kind of tosses her to the side a little bit, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back there.
Hey there, let's talk about some wild basketball drama. Imagine going into the first playoff game missing 6 players or dealing with refs who seem to be against you at the worst possible moment. That's what happened to the Indiana Fever when they played the Atlanta Dream. You could tell everyone was super frustrated. Their coach, Stephanie White, got so mad she got a technical foul for saying what all the fans were thinking. So, how does a team that's barely holding it together keep fighting through all these injuries and weird ref calls? Was it just bad luck, or did it feel like someone was trying to mess them up? Stick with me, because what went down in Game 1 has fans super mad, players upset, and the whole league talking about whether the Fever got cheated. Do you think the refs were unfair to the Fever? Tell us what you think in the comments below.
Players they have. So Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby right there on the bench. But then you have Sophie Cunningham, Sid Colson, Ari McDonald, all actually having to sit separate from the bench. You also have Damiris Duntes.
Picture this. You're heading into the playoffs, but half your team can't even play. How do you even stand a chance? That's the crazy situation the Indiana Fever faced. It wasn't just 1 or 2 players out. Talk about bad luck. Caitlin Clark hurt her groin, and that ended her season. Chloe Bibby messed up her knee. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Carlson were out with knee injuries too. Ari McDonald had a foot problem. And to make things even worse, just a day before the game, Dairis Dantas got put in concussion protocol. That's 6 players who should have been on the court gone. But the Fever still had to go out and face a super strong Atlanta Dream team that had all their players ready.
We got the injured reserve here with you guys, which last month, they just weren't able to travel. What does that mean to you specifically, just having them there?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think just looking at the squad in itself, they just have a lot of knowledge. And so for us, just being able to listen to them, taking what they see, because obviously just them watching is going to be a different view than us on that court. And so super, super happy to have them with us.
How is that fair to the players or the fans? The Fever worked hard all season to get the 6th spot in the playoffs. They fought through tons of injuries, mixing and matching lineups like a puzzle with missing pieces. And instead of getting a fresh start for the playoffs, they showed up in Atlanta with more players on the injury list than some teams have on their bench.
Obviously, the injured players, they haven't been able to travel, some of them, but most of them are here now. How do they help kind of from a culture-wise and with just bringing some perspective?
Yeah, we miss them every day on the court. So to be able to have them we had our plane, front of our plane, normally we have empty seats. It was filled on the way here. So, they bring energy, they bring light, they bring their vocal leaders, all of them. So to have them on this trip is huge. And I don't know how we're going to fit everyone on the bench. It's not that long. It's been packed recently. So I'm excited to see how we figure that out, but it'll be great to have them back with us.
Speaking of the bench, oh boy, it was something else. The Fever decided to bring everyone, all 16 players, whether they could play or not. It was a cool way to show they're all in this together, but it also showed how crazy their situation was. There weren't even enough seats. The main bench filled up so fast that some players in regular clothes had to sit in a second row behind the real bench, like they were waiting to get on a plane.
They're finally able to travel from a medical standpoint as well. So, I think having the whole group here, having those guys here gives us a little bit of a boost emotionally. And then having their perspective. You're talking about 3 point guards that are sitting on the sideline that can talk to our team in huddles, that can talk to our team, throughout the course of dead balls or when they come on and off the floor.
When players go in and out of the game, it's a big deal. Here's why this matters. Think about other playoff teams. They've got strong backup, players they can bring in when their stars get tired or get into foul trouble. The Fever didn't have that. They were just using whoever could still play, holding things together with hard work and hope. But even with all that, they made the playoffs 2 years in a row. That shows how tough they are.
Come on, guys. My new team, the medical staff. Oh, yeah.
Listen to this. Sophie Cunningham, who's stuck rehabbing her knee, made a funny joke. She said she's basically part of the medical staff now. It was just a silly comment, but it shows how wild this season has been. A player who should be out there shooting baskets is cheering from the sidelines and joking to keep everyone's spirits up. That's the Fever's vibe, finding ways to stay positive even when things are rough. And the craziest part? Even with all those injuries, they came out strong in Game 1. They surprised Atlanta and took an early lead, like they didn't even notice they were missing so many players. But then, the refs got involved and totally changed the game.
What the referees did, and I know why Stephanie White got a technical foul. Each coach that had to watch their team work so hard all season long, play through every single injury. And the reason why they had so many injuries, because of these referees.
Every playoff game has its ups and downs, but nothing messes things up faster than a bad ref call. The Fever went into Atlanta with 6 players out, but still started strong. They jumped to a 15-6 lead with Kelsey Mitchell hitting shots and Aaliyah Boston owning the rebounds and blocking the lane. The Fever were focused, playing like they weren't going to let their short team hold them back. For a second, it felt like they might pull off something amazing. A broken team beating a healthy one. But then the refs started making calls that slowed everything down.
Ryan Howard just falls down, but it's a foul. Like, this is ridiculous. Look at this. Kelsey Mitchell. They don't even let the Fever play defense because she's associated with Caitlin Clark. Look at this one. Another foul where nobody touched him. So they lost the timeout and they lost their challenges for the game because the referees can't do their job.
That early energy got messed up by ref calls that came out of nowhere. When the Fever made good defensive plays that should have led to fast breaks, the refs gave Atlanta free throws instead. Clean plays were called as fouls. Mitchell and others fought through screens to stop Atlanta from getting easy shots, but the refs kept stopping the game with calls that didn't make sense. It wasn't just one bad call, it kept happening, and it took away the Fever's early spark.
The referees took it over. Look at this. Everybody saw this. Lexi Hall didn't touch her, but they had to waste their first challenge on this play. Here we go. Look at this. She gets elbowed in the face, and they call a foul on Brianna Turner. And then Lexi Hall turns around to go back on defense, but she gets charged for a foul, and they wanted to upgrade it, reviewed it.
Lexi Hall got hit hard by these weird calls. She got called for a foul on Ryan Howard, even though she was in the perfect defensive spot, with no illegal contact. Coach Stephanie White challenged the call, and the replay showed what everyone already knew. There was no foul. She had to use one of her challenges in the first quarter, which no coach wants to do so early. White said it was super frustrating to win 2 challenges that fast because it showed the refs were clearly messing up, but you couldn't keep fixing their mistakes forever. She only gets a few challenges.
Look at this. Boston gets elbowed in the face by Brittany Griner. You didn't called it? No. And look at this. Lexi Hall did not touch her. Didn't even touch her. And she gets free throws. Here we go. Kelsey Mitchell touched her hip lightly.
Meanwhile, Atlanta was allowed to play super physical, and the refs didn't call anything. Fans saw Brianna Jones throw an elbow at Brianna Turner or Brittany Griner push Aaliyah Boston during post-ups, and the refs just let it go. It was so inconsistent. If the Fever played tough, they got called for a foul. If Atlanta did the same, the game just kept going. That kind of unfairness doesn't just show up in the score. It makes players lose confidence, focus, and their flow.
Lexi Hall gets thrown out of bounds. No foul, right? Remember that play, okay? Boston, foul. But look at this. So she goes for the ball, and then they call a foul on Lexi Hall. Look at, she says,